My name is Walter Hayes, 68, Ohio plates, 2 knee surgeries and a lifetime of invoices paid on time. I built houses. I don't gamble with roofs or with bank accounts. The door flies open without a knock. Dad, we need to talk now. That's my son, Ethan. 40, big energy, bigger promises. He moves like a salesman in a hurry to outrun the fine print. I set my reading glasses down, fold the Columbus Dispatch, and keep my voice level. Evening to you too, son. What's urgent enough to skip basic manners? He's already pacing in front of my bookshelf, hands drawing invisible charts. This is it, Dad. A real estate syndicate. Guaranteed returns. We're talking 15, maybe 20% quarterly distributions. It's the deal I've been waiting for. Guaranteed. I stand and walk to the filing cabinet. The bottom drawer groans. That's where I keep the manila folders with names and dates that keep me honest. I pull one. Ethan Investments 2018-2025. Tabbed. Color-coded. Written evidence. Doesn't gaslight you. I lay documents on the coffee table like cards at a rigged poker game. Miami condos, I say. 75,000. You promised pre-sales and passive income. The developer vanished before the will on his last project cleared. You remember the foreclosure notice? Ethan's smile tightens. Next page. Wire transfer receipts, screen-printed email chains, and a text thread I had to recover off a cracked iPhone. Ethan, Dad, the market is exploding. If we don't wire by Friday, we miss phase 1. Me. Send the prospectus and escrow instructions first. Ethan, trust me. It's family. I keep going. Crypto mining rigs 50,000 to a LLC with a P.O. box. The rigs never shipped. The website died faster than a cheap drill battery. You called that just bad luck. His jaw works. That was different. I slide the next folder forward. Food truck. 30 grand. Your partner had embezzlement priors. You said I was paranoid. 93 days later, he disappeared with the equipment and the cash box. Ethan grabs the back of a chair. Knuckles white. You never trust me. Every time I try to build something, you tear it down with your negativity. That's not negativity. That's documentation. I tap the stack. Banks don't take vibes, they take paper. He exhales through his nose, resets his smile, and slides into a different costume. Okay, I hear you. I messed up. I've learned. This syndicate, legit properties, legit investors. We can put the company under my management temporarily and, hard stop. I point to the frame on the wall, my late wife's photograph, under a copy of my operating agreement. The will leaves controlling interest to me until I die. There is no scenario where you temporarily manage my company via power of attorney. Because I had a second glass of Cabernet. Nobody said anything about a POA. You're being dramatic. Am I? I flip my legal pad to a fresh page. Give me the offering memorandum, list of LPs and GP, their Series LLC structure, the escrow account, and the distribution waterfall. I want addresses, EINs, and state filings. If it's legit, you won't mind daylight. Silence. He stares at me like I just spoke a dead language. I don't have it with me, he says finally, the pitch leaking air. But it's time sensitive. We need a soft commit today. 100 grand. I'll send docs later. Then you don't have my money. I push the manila folder across the table. Read the tabs. This is not me being a narcissist. This is me setting boundaries. He laughs, sharp, ugly. Boundaries. Dad, you're being toxic. You're acting like the bank of no. You trained me to hustle, and now you sit there like some saint with receipts. You're an enabler when it's convenient, and a gatekeeper when it's not. I keep my voice calm. Being your father didn't make me your co-conspirator. He grabs his jacket, shrugs it on like armor. Fine. When this makes millions without you, don't come crawling to me asking for a cut. He heads for the door. I let him get there. Ethan, I say, and he pauses just long enough for the hook. Text me the syndicate's name, registered agent, and bank. Right now. His phone buzzes in his hand. He doesn't type. I'll send it later. Then our conversation is over. He slams the door hard enough to rattle the picture frames. The house goes quiet except for the old clock in the hallway and the sound of my own pulse returning to baseline. I collect the papers slowly, page by page. Receipts, canceled checks, emails where he said just until my next commission, texts where he called me paranoid for asking about escrow. Gaslighting looks like love until you print it. My phone dings. Not Ethan. Bank alert. Routine balance notice. I stare at the screen and think about how quick a lifetime can drain when you hand it a pen. Another ding. This time a text from Ethan. Ethan, Dad, don't be stubborn. We're family. This is legacy planning. Ethan, we can move some accounts under my name for efficiency. I'll handle distributions. Less tax friction. Ethan, trust me. I've got a notary on standby if you want to move fast. I type 3 words and hit send. Me. Send the docs. No reply. I pull a fresh manila folder from the drawer and write on the tab in block letters. Ethan Syndicate Pitch Day 1. I slide in the printed texts, a contact log, and a sticky note that reads, no signatures without Ava. Ava Chen is my lawyer. Sharp eyes, sharper memory. She tells me enablers create narcissists the way sugar feeds mold. She tells me love without boundaries is just credit with no limit. I pour coffee and stand by the window. Maple leaves barely move. Across the street, Mrs. Patel sits on her porch like a quiet witness. She nods when she sees me. I nod back. My life slows to the speed of my breathing. Here's the truth I don't say out loud. I have enabled Ethan for years. I wrote checks to fix the holes he drilled in his own boat. I called it support. He called it normal. Somewhere in there the definition of family got mugged. The doorknob still vibrates from where he slammed it. I set my hand on the cold metal, feel the tremor fade, and say it for the tape, for the voiceover, for me, no more. I stack the folders. I date the spine. I pull the will from the safe and lay it next to the operating agreement page, corners crisp, signatures clean, notary stamp exactly where it belongs. I take a photo of the setup and email it to myself with the subject line, written evidence baseline. If Ethan wants to play grown-up with paper. I've been fluent in paper my whole life. Morning in Ohio smells like wet grass and coffee. I step onto the brick walkway with a reusable bag and a list eggs, rock salt, printer ink. Halfway to the driveway, I stop. My Honda sits crooked, like a boxer after the 10th round. All 4 tires are flat. Not tired flat. Surgical flat. I kneel. There it is, a roofing nail buried in the sidewall at a neat, mean angle. Same model I keep in my workshop, same sheen. I circle the car. 4 wheels, 4 nails, same placement, pattern. Not vandalism by kids. Not a random puncture. A message. I take photos. Wide shot. Close up. My watch face in frame for timestamp. I shoot a 30-second video. Narrate what I see. Evidence beats memory. I email it to myself and to Ava Chen. Subject line, 4 tires deliberate. I call AAA. The dispatcher gives me 45 minutes. I sit on the porch rail and open a fresh note in my phone labeled evidence log. Day 2. Time, weather, condition of tires, exact nail orientation. Manila folder waiting on the kitchen table for hard copies. Across the street, Mrs. Patel lifts a hand. Morning, Walter. Car trouble? Looks like it. You didn't happen to see anything last night? She hesitates, then stands, cardigan tight across her shoulders. I sit out most evenings. She glances up and down the street like she's checking for a judge. I saw Ethan here around 9:30. He walked around your car with something in his hand. Stopped at each tire. Bent down. Twice. Then he looked around and left. The words hit like a hammer to a cold chisel, clean break. You're sure it was Ethan? I've known that boy since he was in Little League. It was him. A pause. I wasn't going to say anything. Family is delicate. But this is dangerous. Thank you, Dorothy, I'll handle it. As soon as she sits, I call Ethan. He picks up on the 3rd ring, voice gummy with sleep. Dad, what's up? It's barely 9. All 4 of my tires were punctured overnight. Sidewalls, roofing nails. Silence. Then the smooth shift into gaslighting gear. Wow, that's awful. Kids around here are wild during spring break. All 4, same angle, same nail. That's not kids. His tone hardens. Are you accusing me? Because that's toxic. You always go there. You never give me the benefit of the doubt. I keep my voice even. I'm documenting. Do you know anything about it? I drove home after we talked. That's it. Maybe check your security cameras, Sherlock. I did. My doorbell cam's down for a battery swap. He finds a laugh that doesn't reach his lungs. Convenient. Very. I'll call insurance and the police non-emergency line. They'll want a report number. Dad, come on. Don't make a federal case out of tires. Call AAA, get new ones. You're overreacting again. Boundaries aren't overreactions, I say. They're seatbelts. I hang up before he can spit the next line. The tow truck crunches into my driveway. The tech crouches at the front passenger side. Whistles low. Yeah, this is intentional. Sidewall hits like these, you can't patch, you replace. Figure $800, $1,000 out the door. Put it on the log, I say without thinking. He blinks. I shrug. Old habit. When he leaves, I dial insurance. Yes, I'd like to document a comprehensive claim for vandalism, 4 tires, all punctured deliberately. I have photos and video. I'll also be filing a police report, then police non-emergency. Hi, I'm in Franklin County. I need an incident number for tire vandalism. Yes, I have written evidence and a neighbor witness willing to verify. Yes. I'll email the photos in my statement. I print everything, the photos, the email to Ava, the insurance confirmation, the incident number. I staple the stack and slide it into the manila folder labeled DAY 2 tires. I add a sticky note. Ask Dorothy if she's comfortable giving a statement. Ring cameras on Maple. Canvas. My phone buzzes texts from Ethan. Ethan. Dad, you're blowing this up. It's just tires. Ethan. Why do you always need to be the victim? Ethan. If you just trusted me yesterday, we wouldn't be doing this dance. I reply. Me. Send the syndicate docs you promised. Offering memo GP divided by LP roster, escrow bank, registered agent, me. Also, do not come onto my property without notice. That's a boundary. 3 gray dots. Then nothing. I forward the whole thread to Ava with the subject line pattern plus boundary notice. She replies in 2 minutes. Ava, document don't escalate. File the report. If he shows up, call me first. Also add a no POA note to your bank profile. I'll send a letter instructing no changes to accounts or beneficiary designations without my sign-off. Ava. P.S. Buy a new ring battery. Today. I drive the rental to Morrison Tire Center. The manager gives me the look. Mechanics give cops respect with a side of pity. 4 sidewalls? Somebody hates you. We'll get you back on the road. While I wait, I draft a 1-page affidavit, plain language describing the discovery, the nails, the neighbor's observation, the timeline after last night's argument. I leave spaces for signatures and a notary. Paper isn't dramatic. Paper is dependable. Back home, the house feels different. Not unsafe alert. I swap the ring battery and set the motion zone to swallow the driveway and the strip of street where a man would stand to kneel beside a tire. I pour coffee and check my bank alerts. Routine transactions only. Good. I open the safe and lay out 3 things. My will, my operating agreement, and a note I write by hand. I will not be an enabler. Evidence first, emotion later. The phone rings. Unknown number. I let it ring out. If it's important, they'll leave a message. If it's Ethan from a different phone, he can wait. I step onto the porch and find Mrs. Patel looking at me with that mix of kindness and steel I've always respected. You okay, Walter? I am, I say. And thank you. Some people need to learn respect, she says simply. You work too hard to let a narcissist take it with a pen. I nod. The sun breaks through the clouds like an apology. Inside, the printer kicks on, as if on cue, 2 more copies of my statement sliding into the tray. Warm and certain. I paperclip them and drop them into the DA2 folder. I lock the safe, reset the door alarm, and speak it again, this time to the empty room. This time like a vow. No more. The text lands at noon. Ethan, Dad, 40 tonight, 6 p.m. Just family. Would mean a lot. Me, noted. I'll stop by. 1 hour. Ethan. Perfect. Brooks keeping it simple. Me. Send address for record. Ethan. Same house. See you. I forward the invite to Ava Chen with 1 line. Attending for optics. Evidence mode on. She replies with a checklist. AVA. Eat beforehand. Nurse 1 drink. No upstairs tours. If any docs appear, say email to counsel. Record in your log. Text me code yellow if they push. At 5:58, a taxi pulls to the curb on their cul-de-sac. The house I remember, hand-me-down sofa. Chipped coffee table has been replaced by magazine spread money. New chandelier throws diamonds on the walls. A catered buffet glitters in the kitchen. Imported labels line the counter like soldiers. Simple, Brooke said. Ethan opens the door mid-knock, grin too wide. Dad, you made it. Come in. I set a small wrapped box in his hand, a professional torque wrench. 40's real, use it to tighten things. He barks a laugh that doesn't touch his eyes. Love it. Brooke, Dad's here. Thanks for watching today to then. Brooke floats out of the kitchen in a dress that could pay a mortgage. She air kisses near my cheek. Walter, wonderful. Let me get you a drink, your favorite cab. Sparkling water's fine. I pat my chest. Doctor says moderation, boundaries. I let the word hang. She blinks once. Recovers. One small pour to toast. A bottle with a French village on the label appears anyway. After food. I glance around and start my internal ledger. Head count, bottles, brand new leather armchair, 2K rug, hired bartender in black tie pretending to be a cousin. Ethan slides beside me, stage whisper smooth. Dad. Quick tour later, we renovated the master. Want your opinion on the tile. They have the sold. I'm here for cake and family. The tile can wait. He nods like a bobblehead, then hustles off to greet guests I've never seen before. Young professionals discussing options, packages, and Q4 bonuses, with voices trained to say synergy without laughing. I fix a plate, something green, something protein, and keep my hand over my glass when Brooke passes. She's a refill machine, smiling like a slot that only pays out wine. Every pass is a nudge. Drink, loosen, sign. Lily finds me near the mantel. 18, ponytail through a baseball cap that says state. Her hug is real. Grandpa, you came. I did. Finals? One more week. Psych 101. We're talking about gaslighting this unit. Wild how people twist reality to make you doubt yourself. She says it soft, testing the air. Useful class, I say, and meet her eyes. Something flickers there, warning. Ethan clinks a knife to a crystal glass. Toast. To family. To second chances. To the future. Glasses lift. I raise sparkling water and watch Brooke clock it like a missed mark. Dad here. Ethan materializes with a fresh pour and presses it into my hand. I take it, hold it, don't sip. If this is theater, I can be a prop. He leans in. The whisper too bright. 10 minutes. We go upstairs. The contractors did wild work. We'll see. I set the glass on a coaster. My phone buzzes in my pocket. AVA. If the tile's that urgent at a birthday, it's not tile. Code yellow ready? Ready. I walk the perimeter. Photo frames that weren't here last month. New electronics with delivery stickers half peeled. The bartender slips into the hallway with a manila envelope under his arm. Not a cousin. Brooke blocks the kitchen doorway like a bouncer in pearls. Walter, we have a little surprise upstairs. Since you built the business, we wanted to show you how we're streamlining things. Streamlining, that a finance word for moving the money? My tone stays friendly. My hand stays empty. She tilts her head, pity as performance art. Don't be adversarial. This is legacy planning. We want to make things easier for you. Nothing gets easier with a pen in the wrong hands, I say. Her smile goes porcelain hard. We're family. You're being difficult. That's the narcissist tell. Your boundaries are the problem. The bartender reappears. Thinner envelope now. Whispers to Brooke. She nods at Ethan. Ethan checks his watch. Time's a cue. He comes at me with another grin. Come on, Dad, 10 minutes tops. Renovation reveal. Then cake. We can do cake first. I'm on a schedule. Cake is chillin'. Upstairs is quick. I don't sign anything today. I let the sentence sit on the hardwood. Who said sign? You did, indirectly, the moment you hired a bartender with a notary stamp. I look past him to the man with the envelope. He flinches. Ethan laughs, palms up. Dad, you're paranoid. 2 sips of wine and you're inventing conspiracies. Good thing I didn't have 2 sips. He steps closer, drops his voice to the frequency used to close deals and crush objections. Stop making this difficult. This is for efficiency, less tax friction. I can manage distributions from your bank account so you don't have to worry. Email Ava the plan, she'll review. Why bring a lawyer into family? That's healthy, that's boundaries. A beat. Brooke's jaw tightens. Somewhere, someone kills the music. The room tilts into staged silence. Then a hand clamps my forearm. Lily, face pale, eyes glass hard. She leans in like she's asking about dessert. Grandpa, you need to leave, right now. The words slide under the skin like a blade of ice. What's wrong? I keep my voice low. Her fingers tighten. Please, just go. Whispered, urgent. Trust me. Lily. Ethan's there in a blink, smile nailed to his face. Sweetheart, Grandpa was just about to see the new tile. No, he wasn't. Lily doesn't look at him. She doesn't look at Brooke. She looks at me like the only truthful thing in the room. Brooke's smile fractures. Walter, don't be rude. We've planned something special. Special like a power of attorney wrapped in a birthday bow. I set the untouched glass on the mantel. The chandelier hums. The bartender shifts his weight. Ethan's watch ticks loud enough to count. I take one step back and say, calm as a weather report, I think I should listen to my granddaughter. I don't argue at the door. I don't ask for cake. I make it boring and procedural. Thank you for the evening, I say, sliding past Ethan's shoulder. We'll talk tomorrow. Cool air hits like mercy. I call a taxi and step to the curb. Through the window I see Lily watching from the hall, hands at her sides like she's bracing a door only she can see. The taxi's headlights crest the corner. I get in, give my address, and stare at the manila envelope shadow in the front window of their house until it disappears in the mirror. Halfway down the block, I call Lily. She answers on the first ring, whispering, Grandpa, are you safe? I'm in a taxi, I say. Talk to me. A muffled door closes on her end. Party noise drops. Then the words spill out fast, clipped, terrified. Mom and Dad hired 2 lawyers. They're upstairs. The bartender is a notary. They were going to get you drunk and have you sign power of attorney and something about assigning the operating agreement to Dad temporarily. Mom said once you signed, they'd move your bank accounts for efficiency. Not parent. A warmth rises in my chest that isn't anger. It's clarity. You heard this? Yesterday. They did a practice run timing the toast, when to tour the master, where the signatures go. Mom kept saying, old people sign anything when they're relaxed. You did perfect tonight, I say. You got me out. They asked why you left. I said the neighborhood gets dangerous late. I went to my room. They think I don't know. Keep it that way. No heroics. If anyone asks, you felt sick. Text me if they search your room or try to drive anywhere with files. IL. We hang up. I fire a text to Ava Chen. Me code yellow. Attempted in talk sign plus upstairs lawyers plus notary. Target. POA plus OA assignment plus bank changes. AVA. Exit safe. Me. Taxi. Recording notes now. AVA. Good. Do not confront. We go paper first. I'll draft. 1. No POA letter to banks divided by brokerage. 2. Cease and desist. Attempted elder financial exploitation. 3. Notice of counsel all docs to me only. Screenshot tonight's texts. Start a timeline. Me. On it. I open evidence log day 3 and dictate into my phone like I'm reading a blueprint. 6:03 p.m. arrival. Visual inventory. Hired bartender. Envelope observed. New furniture. High-end labels. 6:41 first push to go upstairs. 6:56 second push. 7:2 Lily warning. 7:5 exit. Names, faces, positions in room. 9. I email the voice memo to myself with the subject, birthday attempted signing plan and BCC Ava. Then I write myself a recap while the details are sharp smells, phrases, the way Brooke said streamlining like a verb you do to other people. Taxi turns onto Maple. Porch light on at my place. Mrs. Patel, a silhouette in her chair. My house looks like a witness with windows. Inside, I set the phone on the counter and open the safe. 3 things come out like a ritual. My will, my operating agreement, and the company minute book. I snap photos of the signature pages, notary stamps, and the control clauses. I send them to Ava with a single line. Me. Baseline originals signed, dated, notarized. Control remains with me. No amendments. AVA. Perfect. I'll overnight bank instructions. Flag client is no POA, divided by no telephonic changes without live verification plus counsel approval. Also issuing hold notice to registered agent. Any filings purporting to change control are disputed. I log into my banking portal and flip every alert switch to on. Withdrawals, wires, address changes, beneficiary edits. I add a verbal passphrase I haven't said in 20 years. I text the branch manager. Me. For your information. Letter from counsel incoming. No changes authorized. If anyone presents POA or company assignment, call me plus Ava on speaker. Reply pings in 2 minutes. Branch. Received. Will place an internal fraud watch note and require in-person notarized verification for any control change. Your lawyer can add a standing instruction. I draft a 1-page statement while the printer warms up. Attempted intoxication and signature procurement at private residence. Presence of counsel upstairs. Presence of notary. Plan to modify POA. Operating agreement and bank control. Witness. Lily Hayes, private. Environment. Heavy alcohol service. Repeated pressure to tour upstairs. I sign it. I leave 2 blank lines for Ava and Mrs. Patel should we need witness confirmations later. The phone lights up unknown, then unknown again, then Ethan. I let them all go to voicemail. When the chirps stop, I text 1 sentence. Me. Per counsel. All future communications in writing. Send documents to Ava Chen. Esquire. No exceptions. 3 gray dots. Then a final shot. Bringing lawyers into family is toxic. You're making yourself the victim again. You're going to regret this. I screenshot it. Printed. Manila folder labeled Day 3 birthday attempt. The stack grows. The house settles. The clock ticks. Outside, a car rolls past, whisper quiet and keeps going. I pour water, not wine, and say it like a lesson I needed to learn at 68, and finally did. Document first. Confront never. Paper wins. Now then to south to the better. Bandanoi. Tip tuk vit fun. 5 bang ting an teo kutruk da din. Dambautin len mak. Chat GPT da noi. Da swingi. Part 5. The war room opens. B story enters. Vo script. Morning. Coffee. Printer hum. I turn my dining table into a war room. Pads, tabs, stamps, envelopes. The house smells like toner and resolve. I dial Ava Chen on speaker. She answers before the second ring. Walk me through last night, Walter. Top line only. I give her the timeline: bartender divided by notary, upstairs lawyers, push to tour, Lily's intervention, orderly exit. She doesn't interrupt. When I finish, she exhales like a judge finishing a brief. Okay. 3-prong response. Paper, not drama. 1. Lock down your financial perimeter. 2. Inform the community Ethan depends on facts only. 3. Ethics and employment for Brooke. We escalate if they escalate. Agreed? Asterisk, asterisk. Agreed. She starts dictating like a metronome. Prong 1 lockdown. I'm drafting a no POA divided by no beneficiary changes instruction to your banks and brokerage, effective immediately. We'll put you on verbal password plus in-person notarized verification for any ACH divided by wire, address or control changes. I'll also send a cease and desist to Ethan and Brooke regarding attempted elder financial exploitation and tortious interference with your company. Keys rattle on her end. My inbox pings. AVA. SUBject. Account lockdown packet. Attachments. 1. Client instruction. No POA. 2. Counsel. Notice all docs to counsel. 3. Cease and desist Hayes. 4. Bank cover letter. Certified mail. Broker cover letter. Secure upload. Print, sign, scan, and certified mail the bank letters. Keep proof of mailing green cards, tell good stories in court. Also upload to your brokerage portal under secure message so there's a time-stamped trail. On it. Prong 2 inform. You mentioned prior investors, Ethan burned. Miami condos, crypto, food truck. You still have contracts, wires, email threads, all tabbed. Good. Prepare neutral packets. No name calling. Cover letter. Information for your consideration regarding Ethan Hayes' business practices. Include dates, amounts, and Ethan's own emails acknowledging risk. Send via courier with delivery confirmation. When people compare notes, reputations self-destruct without you touching them. I write the header in block caps. Information for your consideration. Prong 3 ethics and employment. Brooke holds client money. If she coordinated a get him drunk and sign a POA play, that's a fiduciary red flag. We file to her employer's HR divided by compliance with facts, and ask for an internal review. If she has licenses 65 divided by 66 divided by 7, we note potential issues for the State Securities Division, or FINRA. We don't accuse crimes. We report conflicts in conduct. Understood? Asterisk. Understood. I open a fresh manila folder. PHAs is P. 1 lockdown divided by P2 inform divided by P3 ethics. The label calms me more than chamomile. Ava lowers her voice. One more thing. I'm putting a hold notice on your company's registered agent. If any filing hits the Secretary of State changing managers, members, or registered office, we get alerted. I'll also draft a ready-to-file TRO, temporary restraining order, if they try to rush a fraud. We won't file unless forced. Paper on the desk scares people off the ledge. You think they push? Entitlement doesn't retire gracefully. We plan for the worst and hope they pivot. We hang up. I sign the bank lockdown letters, initial every page, scan to PDF, and drive to the post office. Certified mail receipts slap the counter like tiny verdicts. Back home, I upload the same letters through the secure message portal. The site spits a reference number. I print it and staple it to the green card copies. Evidence loves redundancy. Phone buzz branch manager. Branch. Lockdown note placed. Any attempted change triggers 2-factor plus callback to you and counsel. We added, do not accept POA in bold red on your profile. I reply, me. Thank you. Logging this communication. Next. Inform. I lay out 3 courier packets. Marcus lost $25,000 in Miami condos. I include the wire screenshot, the prospectus PDF, and an email where Ethan wrote developers teetering but we can still slip in. David $35,000 to crypto rigs, screenshots of the LLC with a P. O. Box, Ethan's text. Supplier feels sketch but returns are insane. Jennifer $20,000 food truck. Contract clause requiring background checks on partners. Highlighted Ethan ignored it. Cover letter, 1 page, center aligned. Information for your consideration. Ethan Hayes documented investment history. Enclosed are contemporaneous records. Please review and draw your own conclusions. No adjectives. No heat. Paper. Not fire. I call Premier Courier. Same day, signature required. Anonymous return. We know the drill, Mr. Hayes. The dispatcher's voice is a shrug and a suit. Printer hums. I assemble Brooks' packet to HR divided by compliance. A factual memo. Bullet points. Timestamps. No adjectives. Environment. Heavy alcohol service. Repeated pressure to leave public areas. Notary on site. Plan elements overheard. POA. OA assignment. Bank account control under efficiency. Risk framing. Potential exploitation of an elder. Conflict with role as client fiduciary. Request. Internal review. Confirm guardrails for client protection. Acknowledge receipt. I include aggregate expenses photographed at the party. Catering invoice on the counter. New electronics with shipping labels still warm. As context, not accusation. I end with 1 line. Justice requires light, not speculation. Before sealing anything, I take a breath and face the thing I should have faced years ago. Was I enabling their toxic behavior all this time by being too nice? Did I teach Ethan that my wallet erases consequences? I loved my son. I also taught him I would absorb the bill. I write it down in blunt ink in the margin of my log. No more enabler. Boundaries are love with a spine. Phone vibrates. Ava again. 1 ad. File a police non-emergency supplement to last night's incident. Note presence of notary and suspected intent to procure signature while impaired. You're not charging them. You're building a timeline. If this turns, officers won't be starting cold. Done. I submit the supplement online. The portal returns a case update number. I print it, top staple it to day 3 birthday attempt. The stack has weight now. Courier knocks. I hand over the 3 investor envelopes and the HR packet in a plain sleeve. He scans each label. My phone pings with tracking links. I text Lily from a fresh thread titled, "You good? Me. Proud of you. If anything shifts at home papers, visitors, whispers text, rain. I'll handle the thunder. Lily, I'm okay. They're arguing. Mom said, it should have worked. Me. Document what you safely can. Do not engage. You're the granddaughter. not the shield. Lily. Copy. Love you. I step back from the table. The war room is neat, almost pretty. Green cards, tracking slips, cover letters aligned to the edge like a parade. My phone lights with unknown 3 more times. I let them ring into the ocean. Ava texts one last thing. AVA. Good work today. Remember, we don't punish, we protect. If they stand down, we stand down. If they escalate, we file. Justice is a thermostat, not a flamethrower. I lock the files in the safe and set a fresh sticky on the door. Phase 2. Wait for Monday. I turn off the dining light and say the line that keeps the walls straight. Paper wins because paper remembers. Couriers move faster than gossip when you pay for signatures. 4:12 p.m. My phone chirps. Delivered. Signed, M. Thompson. 2 minutes later. Delivered. Signed, D. Rodriguez. 4:26 p.m. Delivered. Signed, J. Walsh. 3 green check marks line up like traffic lights turning me loose. I screenshot each delivery confirmation, save the PDF proofs, and drop them into PHASE to inform. Paper likes companions. 4:41 p.m. Email lands from Pinnacle Financial HR divided by compliance. Brooks Firm. Subject. Receipt of materials internal review initiated. Body. We acknowledge your correspondence. Case ref. PFETH 2197, opened. Pursuant to policy, we will assess potential conflicts and conduct appropriate interviews. Please refrain from further distribution pending review. Compliance, operations. I forward it to Ava. Me. HR clock is ticking. Case PFETH 2197. AVA. Good. They'll triage Monday. Expect a do not touch on her book until then. Save headers plus raw. EBL. I save the raw email files. Courts love headers. 5:03 p.m. Unknown number. I let it die in the tall grass. Voicemail transcribes itself onto my screen anyway. Unknown. Mr. Dottie. Hayes. This is Robert Gale from Pinnacle's Legal. We received documentation alleging fiduciary concerns regarding Miss Brooke Hayes. Please contact. I forward the transcript, not the call. To Ava. AVA. Do not return. All comms through me. I'll call him with our file index so he knows we're organized. 5:17 p.m. Branch manager emails a screenshot of my profile banner. Account lockdown. Do not accept POA divided by no changes without verbal code plus council conference. There's a red border around it like a stop sign. I printed and stapled to P1 lockdown. 5:40 p.m. Registered agent pings Ava and me. Subject. Hold notice acknowledged. We've flagged your LLCs. Any filing change of manager divided by member divided by RA divided by office will trigger immediate alert to council. Standing instruction. Do not file. Route to council. I lean back. The war room is doing what war rooms do, bleeding the adrenaline out of a situation and replacing it with procedure. Saturday, 11:12 a.m. Premier Courier app shows a new breadcrumb Thompson re-signed for a second envelope. Not mine, probably Walsh forwarding him her copy. Network effect in motion. My phone buzzes Marcus Thompson himself, not unknown. Business owner. Chamber board. I pick up. Mr. Hayes, Marcus. We received a packet. I compared with Jennifer's. The dates line up. Ethan collected from us while the developer's bankruptcy was already docketed. Use what you need, Marcus. The cover letter says it all. Draw your own conclusions. We will. Also, council meets Monday. A heads up, no one will underwrite Ethan without a very public reckoning. 9th. Understood. I hang up and log the call time. Gist, no adjectives. Fatigue lifts off my shoulders like a jacket I forgot I was wearing. 1:06 p.m. Text from Jennifer Walsh. Jennifer, thank you for the documentation. We're circulating to the local investment group. People remember getting burned. We also have an ethics lunch Wednesday. Guess who's on the agenda? Me. Fax travel. Be safe. 2:32 p.m. The bank fraud team confirms my verbal passphrase is live. They send a 2-factor test call. I pass, and they note, client is oriented, low risk of confusion in the file. It's clinical and perfect. 3:18 p.m. Ava calls. Heads up, Walter. I spoke with Pinnacle Legal. They're serious. They asked about intoxicated signing intent and notary presence at private event. I reminded them we are not making accusations. We're noting risk factors plus your age. They know the optics of elder exploitation. Do they freeze her book? Unofficially, yes. Formally by Monday. Also, I've prepared a draft TRO. It sits in my drawer with a bow on it. If any filing hits the Secretary of State from your entities, we file within the hour. Copy. 4:05 p.m. Unknown again. I let it ring into the dustbin. Voicemail transcribes. Ethan. Dad, this is ridiculous. You think you can nuke my reputation with your little file folders? You're being toxic. Family doesn't call HR. I screenshot. Print. Day 4 communications gets thicker. Sunday. 9:14 a.m. I brew coffee and watch the courier tracking creep across the map like ants who know where the sugar is. The printer warms up. I produce 3 affidavits, simple, 1 page each for Marcus, David, Jennifer to sign if they ever want their records cleanly collated for any future proceeding. I keep them unmailed for now. I'm not suing anyone. Prepared is not the same as petty. 11:27 a.m. Email from Ava. A template community advisory to send if asked directly about Ethan. I do not provide opinions. I share contemporaneous documents. Please review and decide. Language with no gasoline on it. 1:50 p.m. Mrs. Patel knocks with a plate of lemon bars and a question. Will the police take my statement if needed? They will. Only if you want to. No pressure. She nods, eyes kind and unblinking. People who kneel beside tires at night rarely stop at tires. She leaves the lemon bars and the sentence in my kitchen like a cornerstone. 3:02 p.m. Pinnacle HR follows up with a procedural email. Brooke is scheduled for an interview. They request any additional documentation. I send the party timeline, the Lily intervention redacted to protect her, and photos of the manila envelope and hired bartender. No adjectives, just context. 6:33 p.m. My ring pings, motion at the driveway. A sedan idles across the street. License plate half shadowed. Nobody gets out. 2 minutes. Then it pulls away. I file the clip under external drive-bys and send to Ava with the note. Probably nothing. Logging anyway. Monday, 8:06 a.m. The dam breaks the way dams do, quiet first, then everywhere. The phone rings 5 times between 8:06 and 8:30. Business owners, investors, chamber folks. The script is similar. We got documents. We compared. It matches. We're out. By 9:12. Ethan is radioactive in a town where reputation is a currency. My inbox stacks with, "Thank you for the heads up," in all the polite phrasings business people use when what they mean is never again. 9:47 a.m. Email from Pinnacle Legal. Subject. Interim action, Miss Brooke Hayes. Pending review under case PFETH2197. Miss Hayes is placed on administrative leave with client contact restrictions. We appreciate your cooperation and request no public commentary. I forward it to Ava with a single line. Thermostat working. She replies, exactly. 10:11 a.m. Unknown again. Then again. Rapid fire. Then a text. Ethan. You think you won? Meet me. No more lawyers. 10 minutes. Front porch. Now. I don't answer. I screenshot it. Drop it into DAY 5 escalation. 10:19 a.m. Ava calls. Voice steady. He'll come. Entitlement always thinks proximity equals power. If he shows, no porch debates. Either I'm on speaker or you call non-emergency for a civil standby. Keep doors locked. Camera rolling. Paper only. Paper only. I echo. I stand at the window. Manila folders squared like bricks. Coffee gone cool. Somewhere in town, a chamber calendar gets edited. Somewhere else, HR prints an interview script. In my house, the clock ticks like it's on my side. I put the TRO draft Ava sent clean, lethal, on top of the stack, where I can see the caption. Not to scare him. To remind me, justice isn't loud, it's signed for. He doesn't text, he's here. He arrives, boots on my steps, fist on my door like a warrant. 3 knocks. Too hard. I set my phone to record, slide Ava onto speaker, and crack the deadbolt just enough for conversation. Not entry. Ring camera blinks a tiny red truth. Dad. Open up. We're talking. We. Brooke hovers a step down, sunglasses, jaw set, phone in her fist like a gavel. Conversation's fine on the porch, I say. Door stays locked. He barks a humorless laugh. Wow. Paranoid much? You got the whole town buzzing with your little manila folder show and tell. Facts travel, I say. What do you need, Ethan? To stop the bleeding. He leans toward the crack. You'll call everybody back. Tell them you were confused. You'll retract the HR complaint. You'll apologize. No. Brooke steps up one tread, voice honeyed and hard. Walter, let's be adults. You misinterpreted a thoughtful family moment as exploitation. That's slander. Slander is spoken. You're thinking libel. And I've posted nothing. I've shared documents privately with interested parties. Ava's voice comes calm through my speaker. This is attorney Ava Chen. All communications are recorded. Please direct legal claims to my office. Ethan blinks. You brought your lawyer to your porch. That's toxic. Boundaries are healthy, I say. So is counsel. He shoves the door. The chain holds. You turned people against me with ancient history. Those deals were learning experiences. I lift the top folder where he can see through the gap. Miami $75,000 2019. Ancient? 2019 isn't ancient. Nor is the email where you wrote, developers teetering but we can still slip in. Nor the wire receipts. Nor your crypto LLC with a P.O. box. Brooke slides her sunglasses to her head. Eyes sharp. And you ambushed my employer with gossip. You jeopardized my clients. All then lasted. I have looks to a ready, unlasted. I sent a compliance note asking for a review of a potential fiduciary conflict. A party with a notary, upstairs lawyers, a plan to obtain POA and operating control after serving alcohol. Your HR assigned case PFETH2197. Her chin ticks. She didn't expect me to have the number. Ethan jabs a finger at the ring lens. Take that off me. It's my porch. Cameras deter bad decisions. You're painting me as a criminal, he says, voice climbing. All because you can't handle the idea of me running point. Running point isn't the same as taking control through intoxication. He flinches, then pivots. You can't prove any of that. Hey, decoded is Loring Prance. I flip to day 2 tire S and slide a photo to the threshold close-up of a roofing nail in my sidewall. Premeditation looks like this. 4 tires, same angle, same nails from my workshop. Mrs. Patel saw you kneel by each wheel at 9:30 p.m. From the sidewalk, a gentle voice. I did, Ethan. Mrs. Patel stands with a grocery bag and eyes that don't blink. You were here. You bent down. 4 times. Kale. Brooke pivots, calculating the radius of witnesses. Walter. Dragging neighbors into family matters is grotesque. Dragging a notary to a birthday is grotesque, I say. Ava again, steady. For clarity, we're not pressing charges today. We're preserving a timeline. Tire vandalism, after a financial dispute. Then an event featuring alcohol, a notary, and counsel upstairs. Then repeated pressure to move upstairs. We've issued bank lockdowns and placed a hold at the registered agent. Any attempt to alter company control triggers a TRO filing within the hour. Ethan scoffs, but it sounds thin. TRO? You wouldn't. Try me, I say. Here's the caption. I hold up the first page so the bold words read through the crack. In the Court of Common Pleas. Temporary restraining order. His eyes track the lines even if his mouth pretends not to. He shifts to gaslight, the talent he thinks is talent. Dad, you're confused. You've been under stress. You misread a celebration. I'm concerned about you. Maybe we should move some bank accounts under my management so you can rest. Read my lips, I say, slow even. No POA, no beneficiary changes, no telephonic changes. Bank profile is flagged in red. Verbal passphrase on file. Counsel on speaker. Brooke inhales, then tries the professional card. Walter, reputations are fragile. If you continue to disseminate cherry-picked documents, you expose yourself to, Ava cuts in, to nothing you can win. Our packets are complete, time-stamped, materially accurate, and contemporaneous. They were shared privately with interested parties who suffered losses. If you wish to contest facts, provide contradictory documents. Otherwise, stop. Silence expands between the wood and the hinges. Ethan's eyes glass with cornered anger. You're really doing this. Your own son. I'm doing boundaries. Enabling ends here. He knocks the door again, not as hard. What about Lily? You turning her against us too? From the sidewalk, Mrs. Patel speaks softer. Lily turned toward Truth. That's different. Brooke's phone buzzes. She checks the screen. Color leaves her face a shade. I watch the math compute. HR interview moved up, or administrative leave memo delivered. She squares her shoulders. Last chance, Walter. Retract and apologize. No. Canner be timing of the daft. You'll regret it. Ethan spits the line like a curse he practiced. I let the moment hang, then set the closing brick. Per counsel, further contact must be in writing. If you step on my property uninvited, I'll request a civil standby and have you removed. If any filings hit the Secretary of State, we file the TRO. If you harass my neighbor or my granddaughter, I go from quiet to loud in a courtroom. Choose your next move carefully. Something breaks in his posture. Pride doesn't leave loud, it leaks out. They back off the steps. Brooke slips the sunglasses down like a curtain. Ethan pauses at the bottom and tries one more script. You'll die alone with your paperwork. Kane appearances be righted, or I'll live with it, I say. And keep what I built. They walk to the car. Doors slam. Engine turns. They idle just long enough to pretend they're choosing dignity. Then they roll away. I close the deadbolt and set the chain. Ring saves the clip to the cloud. Phone stops recording. I forward the audio to Ava with the subject, porch threats plus admissions. Good, she texts back. You stayed in policy. Next, we prep notary angles. Then we talk upstairs lawyers. I make a fresh label. Day 6 porch confrontation. The folder swallows transcripts, screenshots, and one lemon bar Mrs. Patel insisted I take for blood sugar after battles. Creating practice setting. I eat it over the sink and say the line that keeps me from stepping into old habits. Boundaries are love with a spine. Ava doesn't start with outrage. She starts with registry numbers. Forward me everything you saw tonight tied to the notary. She texts after the porch. Logos, lapel pins, stamp glimpses, anything. I scrub the ring clip frame by frame until I catch it. The bartender adjusts his jacket and a notary stamp case flashes at his belt. Black, scuffed, a silver oval that reads OHIO Notary. I export the frame, blow it up, and email it. Ava calls in 5 minutes, voice brisk. Got him. Commission number visible in the reflection. I pulled the Secretary of State's public database. 2 problems. 1. The commission expired last month. 2. His venue is Cuyahoga County. He can stamp statewide, but his journal address must be accurate, and he's required to maintain a physical journal and a credible witness or ID check on signers. He was pouring cab and carrying envelopes, not checking IDs. She keeps going, a drummer finding tempo. Ohio notary law. You need personal appearance, willingness, awareness. If someone's impaired, the notary must refuse. A birthday ambush with heavy pours fails willingness and awareness on its face. So what now? We build a clean lane. I'm drafting complaints to Ohio Secretary of State Notary Commission expired commission, failure to maintain journal, attempted notarization under possible impairment, State Securities Division divided by FINRA tip line for Brooke, if licensed, elder exploitation risk, and off-book conduct. State bar on the upstairs lawyers if they're licensed. We don't allege crimes. We ask whether an attorney may participate in an event designed to secure involuntary signatures from an elder. Asterisk. She emails a list. Upstairs screening identify counsel. Tall, gray suit, blue tie. Petite, black pantsuit, red folder. Check name badges in photos? Ask Lily discreetly. Any overheard names? I text Lily a single line. Heard any names upstairs? Initials? Firm? She replies, heard Davenport and Ridgeview. Not sure if firm or person. Red folder lady said, acknowledgement, and durable POA. I pass it to Ava. 10 minutes later, found them, she says. Asterisk Davenport and Ridgeview is a boutique that does estate packages and capacity planning. Their website touts quick signings at home. The 2 lawyers are admitted in Ohio. Their Yelp has a review about a mobile notary upcharge. She pauses for the punchline. Conflict check. Brooks' firm lists Davenport on a preferred vendor's PDF floating around LinkedIn. 9. A line draws itself between the dots. Brooke vendor list upstairs lawyers out-of-date notary and it spells coordination. Ava's already writing. Here's how we land this plane. A. Notary complaint factual. No adjectives. Attach the ring still. Your party timeline. And Ohio's awareness divided by willingness requirement. Ask SOS to verify his journal entries for the night. Bet you a lemon bar they're missing. B. Bar inquiry question whether the lawyers complied with Rule 4. 3. Dealing with unrepresented person. Rule 8.4. C. Dishonesty, fraud, deceit, and Rule 1.1.4 client with diminished capacity. If they intended to proceed with an impaired signer, include the setting, alcohol, streamlining language, private upstairs location, and mobile notary on site. C. Vendor, divided by employer notice to Brooks compliance. CC, General Counsel. Identify that Davenport appears on an internal preferred sheet. Ask whether cross-referrals comply with firm policy. Request a hold on any legacy planning referrals involving your name. Asterisk. That's a lot of paper, Ava. Paper is how this story ends, right? She says. Also, the notary's commission address is in Cleveland. Your party was in Franklin County. Legal to stamp statewide. But if he's operating as a bartender without ID checks, it's untidy. The SOS will care. Understake. I print 3 new cover letters with the headline, "For Review Professional Conduct, divided by notarial practice." The manila pile grows another shade taller. My email pings again, Pinnacle Legal. Subject. Follow-up request case PF-ETH 2197. Please advise whether an outside notary was present, and, if so, provide name divided by commission if known. Also confirm whether any third-party attorneys were engaged for potential documentation. Ava replies from her account before I can. Ava. Outside notary present. Commission appears expired per SOS lookup. 2 outside attorneys from Davenport and Ridgeview observed upstairs. We will forward a formal memorandum to your GC. Client is not alleging crimes. Client is preserving a record of risk conditions and attempted coercive signing. Her phone clicks back to me. This is the turn. We keep our language clinical and our receipts loud. I add 1 more sheet to P3. Ethics. Ohio Notary Modernization Act. Excerpts ORC 147. 6.4 Journal. 147. 5.4.2 Refusal if signer lacks awareness. 147.54. 2. A signer must be willing. I highlight, scan, and index. P3X4. By late afternoon, Ava's memorandum lands like a gavel on a padded desk. Section I. Facts. Timeline. Alcohol service. Repeated attempts to move upstairs. Presence of mobile notary. 2 attorneys. Lily's intervention. Section 2. Law. Notary duties. Attorney ethics rules. Elder financial exploitation risk factors per NASA guidance. Section 3. Requests. Internal hold on any transfers. Confirm no contact with client absent counsel. Preserve surveillance from venue devices, if any. I sign the memo acknowledgement and send it back. I'm not angry. I'm architect-level precise. As the sun slides down the neighbor's maple, Mrs. Patel delivers 1 sentence across the fence like a closing argument. Men who bring a notary to a birthday cake don't plan to share the cake. I smile, stack the last exhibit, and set tomorrow's sticky. File notary and bar complaint certified. The double twist isn't fireworks. It's a serial number on a stamp and a vendor list on LinkedIn that say the quiet part out loud. This wasn't a clumsy family mess. It was a coordinated play. And the answer, as always, is paper. The memo goes out and the house gets quiet the way a courthouse gets quiet after the gavel sound still exists. It just behaves. I'm labeling a binder P4 agencies when Ava texts. AVA. 10 minutes? No billable. Just call. I dial. She doesn't start with law. She starts with a breath. Walter, I need you to know why I'm this uncompromising. You've been precise, not uncompromising. A small laugh. Not happy. When I was 12, my mom ran a tiny alterations shop on the east side. My uncle showed up with a family solution, said he could streamline her paperwork, brought a friendly notary to a birthday, cake, wine, forms. He said, just sign here, sis. Durable POA, purely administrative. There's the word again, streamline, the verb abusers use to make theft sound like tidying. She signed. Ava continues. and 2 months later he drained her bank accounts and moved the lease into a shell he controlled. When she resisted, he told her she was confused, stressed, that the narcissists in our family were gaslighting him. It was textbook. My mom is the kindest enabler I've ever known. Thought love meant signing whatever kept the peace. It was little tarrying. Silence holds between us like a bridge that doesn't creak. We fought it, she says. But you can't litigate feelings, you litigate paper. We clawed back some things, not the years. I watched her learn boundaries at 45 because the law taught her the word nobody in our house would say, no. That's why I'm allergic to legacy planning at parties. That's why I sent you green card letters and TRO drafts. I don't win these, I prevent them. I sit with the image of a woman with pin-cushion wrists and a shop that smelled like steam and chalk, signing away her heir because someone said family louder than law. Thank you for telling me, I say. I thought I was the first foolish father to learn at 68 that love without a spine is just credit. She exhales. I hear it turn from memory to motion. Asterisk, asterisk, so here's what we do next, and it's not strictly legal. Asterisk, asterisk, it's structural. We move you from defense to deterrence. Papers shuffle on her end. Write a 1-page boundary charter for yourself and your business. Plain English. Post it on your office wall. Keep a copy in your minute book. Lines like, no POA, no alcohol near signatures. All changes in writing to counsel. It's not enforceable law. It's enforceable culture. People confronted with rules either adapt or self-select out. Not no's. I pick up a pen and it feels less like a weapon than a ruler. Say it again. Slowly. She dictates. I write. No POA granted or accepted. No signatures outside business hours or under alcohol. All bank, beneficiary, or control changes require counsel present, 2-factor verification, and video capture. Family matters do not override policy. That last line, I say, is the one that would have saved my weekend. It would have saved my mother 10 years. We sit with that. Then she adds something soft. And Walter Lilly needs the language too. She did the bravest, smartest thing in a room designed to make her doubt herself. When this is stable, I want to spend 1 hour with her, no charge, walking through capacity, consent, and coercion. She'll carry that into every boardroom she ever enters. The twist lands not like a reveal but like a relay. Ava took my case because she's still prosecuting a ghost that signed in ink and bled in silence. And she's turning my granddaughter into the witness this story needed 20 years ago. I kept paying Ethan's bills. I admit. I called it love. It was a lie I liked. I taught him that I would absorb the invoice no matter the job. You taught him what you were taught, she says. You're teaching him something else now. Boundaries aren't punishment. They're guardrails. Narcissists call them cages because they can't imagine a road with lines. The printer kicks on with its small, ordinary music. I title a fresh document, Boundary Charter Haze Construction, and set it to print twice, one for the wall, one for the minute book. Ava's voice comes lighter. One last thing. If your instinct is to apologize for being firm, don't. Firm is neutral. It's the tone good judges use. We'll finish the notary and bar packets tomorrow. Tonight, write Lily a letter that praises the choice she made, not the danger she avoided. Train her brain to see herself as the agent, not the accident. That's how cycles end. We click off. The house breathes. I slide the boundary charter into a frame and hang it above the safe. The reflection catches my face, older, yes, but oriented. I take a photo, email it to myself with the subject, "We do policy now." I open the evidence log and add a line that isn't evidence. Exactly, it's the only sentence I want surviving me if the paper outlives the man. I stopped being an enabler the day I learned to love with boundaries. Monday doesn't kick the door in. It documents its way through. 8:42 a.m. Email from Pinnacle Legal. Subject, Case PFETH 2197 Interim Measures. Miss Brooke Hayes is on administrative leave pending review. Client contact is restricted. Please forward any additional materials. I forward the notary memo, the ring still, and the boundary charter with Ava on copy. No adjectives. Just the hum of a scanner and a timestamp. 9:06 a.m. Chamber group chat screenshot lands from Marcus. Marcus, to group. Until Ethan addresses the documents sent Friday, we're declining all pitches. Please route diligence through me. David, seconded. Jennifer, and recorded in minutes. I save the PNG into PHAS2 in form. Reputation doesn't explode, it delists itself from the market. 10:13 a.m. Secretary of State Notary Commission auto reply. Complaint NC 2411 received. We will request the notary's journal and verify commission status on the date in question. Ava texts a checkmark. 11:02 a.m. Letter from Davenport and Ridgeview. The upstairs firm hits my inbox via Ava. We have received informal inquiry re. Potential capacity concerns at a private event. We do not concede any breach. However, we have withdrawn from any engagement related to Mr. Hayes. We will cooperate with any bar review. Withdrew before retained. That's a trick I've only seen in drywall pre-failure. Noon. I hang the boundary charter in my office above the safe, and below my wife's photo. 4 lines in black type that turned this weekend from a mess into a plan. I take a picture and send it to Lily. Me, this is our wall now. Lily. I read it twice. I'm printing one for my dorm. 1:27 p.m. Pinnacle follows up. Subject. Acknowledgement professional conduct intake, Brooke Hayes. We have initiated a conflicts and conduct review. Ms. Hayes's device access to client systems is paused, pending interview. We request any receipts indicating presence of outside counsel or notary at the event. Ava replies with the vendor list screen grab, the LinkedIn PDF that put Davenport on their preferred sheet, and our timeline. She attaches ORC 147.542 with the relevant subsections highlighted. Clinical. Kind. I print the chain and file it under P3 Ethics. 2:10 p.m. Unknown, at my door. I let Ring do the handshake. It's Ethan, alone, no Brooke, no sunglasses, no volume. I don't open. I press the intercom. Write it, Ethan. He looks at the lens like it owes him something. You win, okay? You torched everything. You happy? No one's torched anything. People saw paper. You made me look like a thief. You staged a notary at a bar on legs. He shifts, searching for a lever I took out of the wall. I was supposed to be a partner. You promised. I promised to love you. I never promised to be your co-signer forever. He swallows. The angle of his shoulders says he's never stood without scaffolding, and doesn't like how wind feels on skin. What do you want, Dad? Nothing. That's the point. No POA. No bank access. No upstairs tours. You build your own thing or don't. You apologize to Lily for making her a lookout in her own home. You pay your own invoices. You leave my neighbor alone. You stop calling boundaries toxic. Asterisk, asterisk, silence, then a flat truth. I don't know how to do any of that. Start with I'm sorry, I say. To the right people. In writing. He stands there long enough to learn the camera isn't a mirror. Then he leaves. 3:44 p.m. Pinnacle HR calls Ava. They want a recorded statement. Ava offers mine in writing with exhibits. They agree. We control the medium because we learned to control the terms. 4:25 p.m. I open the company minute book and write a fresh entry in blue ink. Resolved. Company adopts boundary charter as policy guideline. All signings occur in office hours, sober, witnessed, and on camera. No exceptions for family. I sign, date, and slide it behind the tabs. It doesn't change the statutes. It changes us. Evening comes, and with it a small ritual. I take the roofing nail I pulled from the tire still in a plastic bag and place it on the shelf beside the top manila folder. I am not keeping it out of anger. I am keeping it as orientation. A compass that points at what happens when enabling wears a father's name tag. 6:02 p.m. Text from Lily. Lily. They're quiet tonight. Mom's in the den. Dad's in the garage. I'm at my desk. I wrote my own boundary list. #. I don't sign anything. I don't read twice. #2. I don't drink and sign. #3. If anyone calls me dramatic for having boundaries, I call it a red flag, not romance. Me. Put it on your wall. Gold star. Proud of the woman you're building. Dinner Friday? No paperwork, just pancakes. Lil. Deal. Love you. Tuesday. 9:18 a.m. SOS Notary replies again. Commission for name redacted, expired prior to event. Journal produced without an entry for the date in question. Matter referred for administrative action. I forward to Pinnacle Legal since they asked. Ava smiles in text form. Wednesday, 11:03 a.m. Bar intake acknowledges receipt of our materials and assigns inquiry number 2-1470L. No public record at this stage, the email says. It's enough. The door is labeled. They have to knock before entering that room again. By Friday, Marcus texts me a photo of a chamber meeting agenda. There's an item titled Ethics in Local Investing, Documentation over Charm. I laugh into my coffee. Paper 1. I spend the afternoon doing something I should have done when Lily was 8 and Ethan was 20. I start a small scholarship at the community college, the boundary grant for first-year students in business ethics who can define consent, capacity, and coercion in plain English. The intake essay prompt is only 6 words. How does paper protect the vulnerable? I fund it with money I once would have lent to Ethan and called support. With menstuduneng. Before sundown, I take the framed boundary charter off the wall long enough to add a line in pen. We don't do drama. We do documents. I put it back and feel the house square around the studs. Final things happen not with curtain drops but with emails that say received and noted. Brooke's status remains on leave. The upstairs lawyers go quiet online. The notary's commission page updates from active to disciplinary review. Ethan doesn't knock again. He sends 1 email, no subject, 2 sentences. I'm sorry. I'll get help. Tell Lily I'm proud of her. I print it and file it until I know if those sentences turn into a calendar you can live on. Night settles, and I walk the perimeter like I did when I first learned to be a foreman, hand on the rail, eyes on the line, listening to wood speak its small language. The safe hums behind the wall. The folders are squared. The nails and the will sit a foot apart, like cause and effect. The house exhales. For the record, the one I wish someone had written for me a decade ago, here's what this story taught me. Boundaries are not punishment. They're policies. Gaslighting with wine and birthdays is still gaslighting. Narcissists call consequences cruelty because accountability sounds like static to them. An enabler is just a good man who never learned to say no in sentences with love in them. And paper sober. Dated. Witnessed remembers when we forget. I lock the door, set the alarm, and turn off the light in the war room that is now just a dining room again. The phone face down. The printer asleep. Justice didn't roar. It signed for the package and filed the receipt. Tomorrow, pancakes with Lily. No clips, no exhibits. Just coffee, syrup, and the quiet knowledge that the house stands because we built it level and finally, with a spine. If you've made it this far, here's the truth that outlived the drama. Boundaries are healthcare for your mind. The biggest lesson I learned is that no is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace, your bank accounts, or your future. When people call your limits toxic, it's usually because your limits interrupt their convenience. A narcissist hears boundaries as betrayal. An enabler hears consequences as cruelty. But your job isn't to manage someone else's feelings, it's to manage your safety. Paper helped, not because paper is romantic, but because paper remembers when gaslighting tries to rewrite the night. Written evidence, sober signatures, time-stamped messages, those are guardrails when charm turns into a weapon. And yes, saying no to family can feel like treason, until you remember that love without boundaries is just credit with no limit. If you're in a similar spot, here's my starter pack. No alcohol plus signatures. Ever. No POA unless your independent lawyer says so. All changes in writing to counsel. No verbal favors. Document first. Confront never. If they call you dramatic for having boundaries, that's your evidence, not your shame. Now the Reddit part. So, tell me AITA for drawing hard lines with my own son and daughter-in-law. Would you have handled the birthday surprise differently? Have you ever dealt with an entitled family member who called your boundaries disrespectful? Drop your survival tips below scripts that worked. Red flags you wish you'd seen sooner. And any paper wins you're proud of. If you're crafting your own boundary charter, comment paper and I'll share the template I used. And if you needed a sign to protect your peace today, this is it.